Call to order meeting, I believe it's 7:04. Let's call the meeting to order 7:04. I want to welcome everybody for coming this evening on this June the 15th meeting. And I'm just going to keep moving on. So that's item 1 and item 1.1. So I'm going to move on to item 1.2. Councilmember Wong, roll call.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Let's go. So Victoria Knapp.
Present.
Thank you. Amy Lyford.
Here.
Thank you. Billy Malone.
Present.
Thank you. Nick Arnzen.
Present.
I'm here. Hannah Petrie.
Present.
Dr. Sandra Thomas.
I'm present.
Thank you. Chris O'Malley.
Here.
Thank you. Veronica Jones.
Here.
Thank you. Daryl Aranda.
Hello, that's me.
Hi, Daryl. Madeline Barber.
Here.
Thank you. Alan is excused, right? Reginald Wilkins. Anybody going once? Okay, so he's not here. Doug Colliflower.
Here.
Thank you. Sylvia's not here, right? And then Miss Diane Marcussen.
Here.
Okay, how many is that? Who did the math?
13.
13. We have a quorum, I guess. Any other thing? Thank you.
Okay, moving on. Item 1.3, approval of June the 15th agenda. Councilmember Jones.
Good evening, council members. You received a copy of the June 15, 2021 agenda. Are there any additions or deletions from the agenda? I'm not.
Motion to accept.
Second.
Okay, so
All those in favor accepting the agenda as say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? Are you abstaining? No, okay. So moved, unanimous.
and Reggie's here.
Oh, Reggie's here?
Almost.
Almost. Okay. We'll wait for him to connect and continue moving on. Item 2, officers report. Currently, it is now summer months. I know Victoria has Councilmember Jones has a couple of things to announce, especially what's happening this Saturday and things that we're supporting. And I want to also thank Councilmember Knapp for presenting a certificate today for the reopening of Griffith Observatory and acknowledging what they do for our town of Altadena and their role they played in the Bobcat fire and everything else. So thank you for being up there today. I really appreciate it. I know not too many people are updated, but it was a last minute thing. So thank you for making it happen. I'm gonna move. So thank you. So thanks again. And I'm gonna move on. And actually, before I move on quickly, I'm gonna ask Councilmember Knapp if there was any comments we heard from the observatory while you're up there.
One, I will just say that they were very touched. For those that were on the council back during the Bobcat fire, you'll remember the assault of the fire on the observatory and how we all watched and were waiting for the worst of it to pass. They have been closed since November 2019. So today was the first day they reopened. The superintendent of the observatory took a very moving photograph during the fire of the fire crews walking along the bridge from the big 100-meter telescope or whatever, 100-inch. Reggie, don't quote me. And Kenny Arts, one of our artists up here in Altadena, painted a watercolor of it. And so we presented that to the superintendent and the executive director of the observatory. along with a little cake that I got from Patty Cakes. And they were just very moved, along with a little certificate, just congratulating them on their reopening. So the Cosmic Cafe, for all of those who enjoy the cafe, will be open this weekend. And then tours will begin again, public tours, a week from this weekend. So they were touched. I think that it's been a very long time and they've been very lonely up there.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Councilmember Jones, Vice President's report, Vice Chairman's report.
Hey, I really don't have much. I just wanted to, I know today we opened up and we don't have to wear masks in most situations. And so that made me happy, but at the same time, it made me sad to think of all the people that have passed away and what we went through. So I just wanted to say, let's be relieved and happy that the pandemic is ending, and also grateful, but also be mindful of what we've been through and what others didn't make it through. So that was basically it. It has changed our lives. So that's it.
I heard a number, I think it was 75 Altadena residents lost their lives to COVID. I believe it was in our town. Not sure the accuracy of that number, but that was a figure I did hear.
Yeah. I know Altadena is like almost 70% vaccinated. I saw that. Everybody's getting their shots. So yay for Altadena.
Did you want to announce the what's happening at the
I wasn't going to, and
okay.
I thought maybe Daryl would, but I think Dr. Thomas should do it. She's been working right alongside me doing it, and I've been giving her grief, so I'm gonna let her do it.
Okay.
So if that's okay, Dr. Thomas, I mean to put you on the spot.
It doesn't matter. I don't know if you've heard of the woman, Ellen Garrison Clark, a woman, a civil rights worker, worked all across this country to try to free African-American people back in the 1800s. And this woman, we found out, is buried over here in Mountain View Cemetery. Even though she taught all across the nation, she ended up in Mountain View Cemetery, and she ended up there without a headstone. And so the Historical Society gave us the privilege of collecting money in the community and being able to give her the proper stone and burial that she so well deserved. And the ceremony is going to be Saturday, this coming Saturday, beginning at 11 o'clock. And we're asking people to come a little bit early. It's going to be in the chapel, and we won't be long, but we will be thorough and give her due respect. Thank you. Thank you, Veronica. And now everything that I forgot, you can tell them.
No, that was it. That's it. The LA Times is covering it. We've been in 3 newspapers. People tell me, I haven't seen them yet, but so it's gotten a lot. Dr. Thomas has done a good job.
No, you've done a good job.
Thank you.
We've worked hard.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Item 2.3, recording secretary and the interim recording secretary, Councilmember Marcussen.
Yeah, and by the way, guys, tonight I have allergies, so my eyes are watering and my nose is running, so I'm not crying, don't worry. No panicking here. I sent out the minutes. I got some comments back. I resent them. So the ones that you got most recently are the updated ones. I don't know if anybody I didn't hear from anybody else after that. So I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from May as amended. Okay, Daryl seconded.
Do we have a second? So we have a motion and a second on the floor. So all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? So moved, unanimous. I see no abstentions or nays.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Item 2.4, Treasurer's Report. Councilmember Marcussen.
Yes, my other hat. The balance in the account as of May 26th is $1,856.55. We, of course, didn't have any money come in this month. We will have a $35 deposit for the next account, the next month. But, and we had one charge for $9.99, which is our monthly charge for GoDaddy, and that's what we have.
Okay. All right, moving on. Item 2.5, Corresponding Secretary, Councilmember Wong.
Hi, thank you very much. So obviously today is June 15th, the official day of reopening. The website will definitely have, and the county's website will have some great information, but some highlights. We're definitely in a push for vaccinations. So there will be an event on Saturday that Councilmember Petrie will be talking about that will have some vaccinations here locally. Also, vaccination verifications are required, and you can learn more about that. There's no restrictions, it says, on capacity limitations, no restrictions, physical distancing, and then masking are not required for fully vaccinated individuals, except in the following settings where masks are required for everyone, regardless of vaccination status. So they are required on public transit, indoor K-12 schools, childcare, and other youth settings, healthcare settings, state and local correctional facilities, detention centers, homeless and emergency centers. Masks are required for unvaccinated individuals in indoor public settings and businesses, entertainment centers, meetings, state and local government offices serving the public. So anyway, it's okay to be confused. There are lots of links out there. The California Department of Public Health also has some great information, as well as LA County Public Health. And there's definitely a great YouTube from today's town hall that you can check out. Again, vaccinations before the 4th of July is definitely a highlight there. Today, the Board of Supervisors proclaimed June 19th as Juneteenth. So we will be also in Altadena celebrating a full day's worth of Juneteenth events.
Nice.
So we've already heard one, and we have others. We have actually a flyer that will include a lot of the others, and I'll share more about the other events. Juneteenth at Charles White Park will be at 4:30, and we'll be doing a tribute. The event will tribute Pastor Dorothy Evans of the Refuge Christian Church, and there'll be lots of great stuff going on there. And then in the morning, I'm going to save it for Hannah. She's going to talk about the morning event, and then we'll kind of go from there. Also, at the end of this month, Micro Metro and Metro Next Gen on June 27th will be transitioning to a whole new service. So I'll provide a couple of links to those route changes. And then also, I'm just reminding folks on June 24th is the Owen Brown Gravesite Project meeting. That's also linked on our website. And if Diane wants to talk about that anymore, otherwise we have the links on the website. Also, we have a meeting on 6/16, which is LA County Public Works, the Altadena Marengo Avenue et al. Pavement Preservation Project notice, and you can learn about that. Again, that will be at 6 o'clock. On Thursday, Hannah will give an update. We're going to have another community meeting related to Cheney Trail and Census Tract 460301. And that's all I have on my pile. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Moving on, we're going to go now to public safety reports. Item 3.1, with the California Highway Patrol, do we have Officer Keller in the room?
Yes, I made it. How are you guys?
Hi. I first of all, I want to apologize for getting the information to you late. So,
No worries. I even put on the wrong shirt rushing down here, but I made it. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so traffic report for Altadena. This for May, there were 16 traffic collisions during the month of May. 6 with injuries involved, and 3 traffic collisions where there was hit and run drivers. A little bit high this month. A lot of people out on the road getting back to work and run around schools and whatnot. Just a reminder for all of you to stay vigilant and aware of your surroundings. I was asked by our office PIO to inform you guys that as it's now June 15th, restrictions have started to be lifted. We are now able to go out and do presentations in person. Our presentations include they range. We're trying to focus on new drivers. It's called the Team Smart Start program. Just general information for new drivers, as well as presentations for people that already are licensed between the age groups of 18 to 30. A designated driver course, distracted driver course, education, all for young adults. And lastly, we have a presentation for mature drivers. That's for grandparents that are getting older, need to be reminded to pay better attention. We're available at, all you have to do is shoot me an email, let me know what you got, if you have anything or have any ideas. We're trying to get as many venues as we can just to get that information out. So if you guys know of any youth groups that could benefit from that, please let me know. If you have even family members or a group of friends you'd like to see a presentation, we would gladly provide all the, if you guys have a venue, would come out, would bring a pop-up tent, we'll bring informational packets and pamphlets. And we also have a little bit of swag just for you guys. But other than that, that's about it. Altadena, Officer Boyd, he's going to be taking the Altadena area over. He'll be doing patrol. We did a lot of stuff with the schools as they're doing their graduation presentations. They weren't allowed to have ceremonies this year, but they had a lot of drive-throughs where they could stop and get a picture with principals and faculty. That's all I got, unless you guys have any questions or concerns. Go ahead.
Any questions from the council? Councilmember Wong.
Hello. Hi. Yes, thank you. So based on your traffic collisions, did you note any pedestrian? Because LA County Fire has 3 involving pedestrians.
Were they sheriff handled or CHP handled?
Well, usually the traffic collision, at least from my experience, the sheriffs come first, but the CHP comes when it's, especially if it's something to involve an injury or a traffic situation.
Yeah, the way it works is we respond to the unincorporated part of Altadena area that we cover. The dashboard printout I get only gives me a number and location. Doesn't include whether there's pedestrians or not. Is there a area of concern that you have that I can?
I guess the area of concern is that we've had like this in the 4 years. This has been kind of very high number of pedestrian collisions every single month now.
Okay.
Usually it's maybe 1 or none, and then the last 3 months there's been, at least 3 pedestrian involved collisions every month.
Okay. Are they? Do you know anything further? Anything I can? Is it crosswalks? Is it parks? School area zones?
And Pasadena just had 2 pedestrian severe injury and a fatality the other week on Allen. This one was Mendocino and Lake. So that's kind of that weird kind of confusing, because the roads angle a little bit, it gets definitely confusing for drivers.
If
and
it's,
pedestrians.
I think I do recall the one you are referring to. I believe that was handled by Pasadena PD. That's their jurisdiction.
Okay, and then Santa Anita and Altadena Drive. So we don't have any pedestrian crossings. It's Fair Oaks and then Marengo. Otherwise, you have to.
Okay. As for pedestrian crossing, that goes through Public Works. They have to do all their speed surveys and get approval on that. If you want, shoot me an email and I will follow up with you on that, so we don't have to take over the meeting time. But I'll definitely get on top of that with you. Did I lose you?
Any more questions?
And the other
for
one is
councillor?
Lincoln, probably 9 spots.
Have you finished, Councilmember Wong? Any more questions? Any more council?
That's it. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay,
I'll
any
get in
more questions?
contact with you, Miss Wong, and we'll go over it in more depth.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Sounds good. All right. Thank you very much, Officer Kelly. We appreciate your time, and sorry about getting the credentials to you late.
Not a problem.
Look forward
Happy
to
to be here.
seeing you next month.
You will.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on. The Altadena Sheriff Station, Lieutenant Scaggs.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess I'm kind of happy to say I don't have a whole lot to report. Crime is, our part 1 crimes, the more serious crimes, are still down about 8.5% compared to the same time last year. So we're comparing sort of COVID month to COVID month. Overall, we're still down. Particularly the aggravated assaults are down about 20%. And where we still have the issue is primarily our theft, burglaries, vehicle burglaries, theft from vehicles, things of that nature, which have kind of been, they're still down overall, but it's the overriding crime that we have. In particular, we noticed in the last few weeks, a series of break-ins over, I'm just going to say the golf course area, roughly that south of Altadena and west of Altadena Drive as it curves around, east of Lake and like north of Washington. We'll just say that general area. So we've increased some patrols over there to try to keep those down. The MO over there has been a lot of broken windows. So people walking out probably with like a center punch, breaking the window and stealing things like computers and things that are left open on the seats. And also still we have the issue with the gardening equipment being taken out of the back of the landscaper's car when he goes around in the backyard. So that, and then we had the big issue up on Cheney Trail, the trailhead for several months. We have directed patrols up there, especially in the early, we call PM hours, so late afternoon to early evening. And we haven't had a break-in up there now in the last week and a half to 2 weeks. Some of that, I think, though, is given to the fact that Eaton Canyon is open and a lot of the traffic has been diverted back down there. So the parking situation isn't nearly as bad. But I can also say that I went up there yesterday and was trying to be Mr. Undercover in my unmarked car and hoping to see some people wandering around the parking lot. And all I saw up there was my own deputies that came up there. And if there was a criminal up there, they got scared away. So for the moment, hopefully that stays. And I see Deb Halberstadt on here. Every Wednesday she comes out and the first thing I tell her is to go up the Cheney Trail. And she places little things on people's windows, reminding them not to leave anything in their car they don't want to get stolen. Because it's unfortunately the targets of opportunity. It only takes a few seconds. We actually got video last month from somebody who had parked a Tesla up there. You know, they have cameras on them. And we actually saw the people stealing in, and they were very bold. It took them just a few minutes, and they honestly did it in sight of another hiker who was hiking away from them down the trail. So the guy was able to punch the lock and get in and out probably in about 45 seconds. He had what he wanted and it was done. So it doesn't take long. But we're still after him, and we're going to keep up the patrols both in the areas I just talked about. The one other thing I will bring up is overall, if you hear the stat, our robberies for the year are actually up 300% compared to last year. All that that amounts to a grand total of 12 for the year. Although when I go back and research those particular incidents, a good chunk of those robberies are kind of business disputes gone wrong in some cases. Some of them are old roommates who get into a fight, and because of the way the crime turns out, where someone uses force to say, I hate to say, you punch someone out and take their keys, technically it's a robbery. So we have a lot of those that are technically robberies, although honestly they're kind of named suspects, and we don't have, I don't think really an issue with, say, someone or a crew rolling around committing street level robberies. We have had a few of those, but the vast majority of these 12 that we've had this year have been more things, I hate to say, called benign nature, but they're not, there's very few people out there running around victimizing people on the streets right now. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to report, unless someone's got a question. Veronica, I see you waving.
Yeah. I got a couple of calls that at night about 11 o'clock, there's someone on a bike and he was actually in the car, and a woman chased him out of the car and he came around on my street. And then next night there was someone, the first one was in the car. The other one, they saw him before he got in the car, but he was attempting to break in. But it was always after 11 at night. So
Okay,
they're asking, can there be some patrol at night?
That's down in your area in general?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, and just what you're describing would be essentially what I would expect, like the burglars we're having over there on the golf course. That would be the type of people you would expect to roll around with the windows. We know that there's what's called a lot of street people that hang down. There's a church down there off Washington that we know that hang out there at night, and those are kind of our prime suspects. The deputies know all of those people, and whenever they see them, they make their lives uncomfortable. That's kind of our prime suspects, and those are the kind of crimes that they would commit. So, but you're talking about late, okay, midnight-ish hours.
St. Pierre, Kenyatta off of Figueroa in Casita.
Okay. Somebody was waving, same here. Where was it? What streets were you talking about?
Right.
Somebody else?
No.
No? Okay.
Councilmember Wong had her hand up, so
Hi, Dorothy.
no,
No?
that's it? Okay.
You know what? Before I forget, someone's probably going to call you guys. The weed shop there at 1800 Lake is back in operation. We are aware of it. In fact, not on this report, but next report, there will be a robbery that occurred there. They got robbed. As you can imagine, they're less than cooperative and didn't call us for about 2 hours until after it happened. So we have turned that information over to our narco team. Unfortunately, due to budget cuts, we don't have one assigned. We had one at a Temple station that was our area. Now it's gone to a much more regional thing. So I don't know what they're going to do. But our detectives will keep in touch with them. Hopefully we can plan something to make them go away again for a little while. But to be honest with you, the deputies were parked in the driveway over there, and the people were rolling in talking to the deputies on the way into the shop. They don't care because it's not legal to buy it. It's not illegal to possess it. It's only legal. It's basically only a business license issue to sell it without a business license. So no one's really afraid anymore. So hi, Dorothy. Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was waiting. I just want to make sure before we moved on. So the next time we're going to see you, oh no.
Thursday.
Yes, Thursday, but it will be 4th of July. So 4th of July will pass before our next council meeting. We're
Right.
already have sort of explosives going off now. Do you have any thoughts on your strategy? What should our community
Yeah,
do?
if you just call us. I hadn't heard that we had already. I'm not surprised though. It's summertime and people are going to start doing it. But the fire danger, as we all know, is horrendous right now. So so just call us. You know, we actually have a special radio code this time of the year for tracking firework calls. So that's our job. Please call us. What we do if we can confiscate them is we'll end up taking them down to the fire station for destruction. But give us a call. All we can do is, again, it's like playing whack-a-mole. They blow them off in one street, we run them off, and then they blow them off in the next street. But you know, we got to try. So please just give us a call. It's not a problem.
Thank you.
Oh, and, as long as you bring that up, we do have the summer team out right now. In other words, we have money for two we call them no-call cars. So in other words, they're just rolling around doing all kinds of obs work and special projects. And we were informed today that maybe, and I'm saying this is still a big maybe, that Supervisor Barger might have provided some money for 2 additional people. So we'd have 4 deputies rolling around that can do this kind of thing. You know, try to Cheney Trail, the Bielkobergs, plus things like fireworks suppression and stuff specifically. So hopefully we can get those and we can assign them to do some of that.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Ms. Lyford, yes?
Councilmember Lyford.
Thank you. I was just wondering, you mentioned the opening of Eaton Canyon, and I just wondered, have things been going pretty well over there? I walk in the neighborhood, but it's mostly on the weekends that things are crowded. I haven't gotten any complaints from any of my constituents, but I'm wondering if things seem to be running pretty smoothly from your perspective.
Yeah, that's not one of those things. We wouldn't get informed if there was like a law enforcement call up there unless it was an emergency, because I know it sounds funny, but it's a different bureau than Altadena Station. But I haven't heard anything specific like they have issues. And I drove over there, I think it was last Thursday, and drove down in there, and the parking lot was 3/4 full. Seemed like a lot of people using it. And they were also using the parking area there over off New York, like they had mentioned in the meeting, or to try to use that a little more. So hopefully that keeps people off the street and from having to cross the street and park their cars in front of all the neighbors and all that kind of stuff. But it seemed to be going okay. And I will say I drove by there today and I saw one of the Forest Service cars in there too. So everyone's out and about trying to keep the peace. So.
Do you still have parking enforcement officers, Lieutenant?
Yeah, we have 2. They're basically a Monday through Friday item that we have.
Because that's usually where you get involved, because of the Pinecrest Gate. When that gets overflowed, now that it's reopened, those neighbors will usually be the ones to call. But I hadn't noticed either. In fact, I was surprised the couple of times I drove by the Pinecrest Gate in the middle of a day that there were not like no cars at all.
Is the Pinecrest Gate the one where there's maybe 4 or 5 cars can park kind of on the side of Altadena Drive there? Is that Pinecrest?
No, it's actually off of Altadena Drive. You make your right up Bowring, and then or come around. Literally, it's on Pinecrest, okay. And there's houses right there.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
No parking. Yeah, there's no parking on some ways. Yep.
Right. I was up there that same day, and we drove up through there, and I didn't see anybody parked up there. So for now, I guess maybe because there's plenty of parking down at the main parking areas, people are hopefully choosing not to use that.
Okay, any more questions from the council? Okay, moving on. Thank you, Lieutenant Scaggs.
Good night, everyone.
Appreciate your time, and we look forward to hearing from you next month. Moving on. So item 3.3, we do not have a report from Altadena Fire this evening, simply because there's too much happening for them and they were not able to make it. So we're going to move on to item 3.4, CERT with Deb Halberstadt. We can't hear you, Deb.
How about now? Good?
Now.
Okay. I forget John has an extra microphone. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, hi, neighbors. So CERT in April, we discussed earthquake basics. We've been having the swarm in the valley and and also in the Imperial Valley. So we went back over that. In May, we discussed LA County's 5-step action plan, which includes neighbors helping neighbors by doing various things. It's very much like the Altadena Map Your Neighborhood or the Map Your Neighborhood program. And it emphasizes defining your manageable area, so that it would be like the 20 houses around you, more or less, recruiting neighborhood leaders who can support during an emergency, scouting your neighborhood for resources that can be used commonly, building teams and defining vulnerable neighbors, and planning your response as a team. And then in June, we talked about how to stay safe, and we reviewed certain hazards from an active shooter situation, God forbid, but we've had so many in the country this year that we really felt we needed to review that. And then how to prevent cyber attacks at home on home devices, more earthquake basics like drop, cover, and hold, extreme heat like today, precautions for the pandemic as it waxes and wanes. It's not over, even though we've opened June 15th. So still be on your guard about that. Power outages and of course, wildfires. And we've been talking amongst ourselves, those of us involved in preparedness in our community in Altadena, about wildfire safety. And we've been talking about preparedness areas for Altadena that might be open to all of us if something really bad were to happen. And we've been drawing up a plan, which I will introduce to the council when we're done. It'll just be a draft and everybody can contribute towards it. And until we finally have something that maybe we want to present, maybe to Catherine Barger. But meanwhile, that's what I've been doing. Any questions?
Any questions from the council? Thumbs up from Councilmember O'Malley.
Thank you, Chris.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
All right, well, thanks ever so much. Lots of thumbs up happening now. Thanks ever so much, Deb. I really appreciate you taking the time and coming and giving us your update. So I appreciate it. Deb is very important in our community and does a lot of volunteering. And I want to thank her personally too for checking in on me and checking on me this past week and everything. So thanks, Deb.
And he never answered. Well, I'm glad you're looking good though, Billy.
Yeah, I apologize. I kept meaning to, and then business got ahead of me, so I apologize. So thank you.
Can I just say real quick? I just want to give Deb some praise. When the pandemic started, Deb was the first one to tell us, and we didn't listen. She told us in January to get ready for the pandemic. It's coming. And she told us, and nobody paid. I mean, I didn't pay attention like I should have to what she said. So anyway, when she says it's not over, I'm putting back on my mask.
Just be careful. Thank you, Veronica. The only reason I even knew about it, just to say, it's from the CERT training. One of our chapters and one of the things we trained for is the pandemic. So if any of you are interested in CERT training, just let me know and we'll get a training together again.
Sounds good. Okay. Thanks again, Deb. Appreciate it. And I will follow up with you offline. So thank you. All right, moving on. Next item, item 4, the Altadena Community Reports, and item 5.1, the Altadena Library, Nikki Winslow. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, good evening. Let me start my presentation. All right, everybody sees that? We good? All right, so good evening, council members. So good to see all of you tonight. All of us at the library are so happy to see the restrictions lifted across the state and county and continue to expand our services and programming. So that includes both library buildings being fully open, hooray. Currently, Main is open from 12 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday, and the Bob Lucas branch from 12 to 5, Monday through Friday. Staff have absolutely loved seeing our wonderful community members, so please help us continue to spread the word that we are open. Lately, I've run into people or I've been at meetings or something and people don't realize we are, so if you can help us spread the word that, yeah, we're open, you can come back in and check things out and see all of us, that would be great. Our passports office is continuing to accept appointments. They're booked far out. Seems like with travel restrictions lifting, everybody wants a passport right now. So if you know you need an appointment, I would suggest getting one as soon as possible. All right. We're also offering in-person programs again. We're so excited about that. Currently, Main is open 12 to 5, hooray. So we're continuing with a hybrid model. So we have great virtual programs, including an Animal Crossing hour on Mondays from 4 to 5 on the Nintendo Switch. What that means exactly, I don't know, but I'm sure the little ones will. We're also offering a virtual family book club on Saturday, this coming Saturday at 3 o'clock. There's still spots left, and free books are included. So if you know of families that might be interested in doing that, refer them to us and we can have them come pick up some books to participate. And then actually this morning, we started our Stories in Motion, which is going to be every other Tuesday at the Charles White Park. Again, that was this morning, so it'll be in 2 Tuesdays from now. And she had 34 people attending today. So it's just showing you like people are ready to get back to connecting with each other in person. And don't forget about the teens. Online, we're offering Dungeons and Dragons and that D&D at ALD. That's the Discord handle from what I've been told. So that's every Saturday from 12 to 2. And we're also doing an all-around Altadena with our teen librarian, Isabel Briggs. She's going to explore Altadena's geography and history on Instagram Live. That's going to be every other Wednesday, starting tomorrow at 12 o'clock. And then we're also going to be offering a teen zine, try saying that 12 times, workshop every other Tuesday. That started also today at 10:30 a.m. at Charles White Park. So, and even more programs to come. So the book clubs are meeting in person again, which is exciting. Every second Saturday, we have the No Guilt Book Club, which literally means read the books, don't read the books. You don't have to have any guilt. You can show up and just connect and talk to the people that are there. And then on the fourth Saturday, we have our True Crime book club for those of you that like to read true crime. And both of those are from 4 to 5 at the main library. So outside over by the tree with the benches, it's become really popular, so spread the word. Back by popular demand, we have a quiet space meditation that's offered on Zoom. And it might sound weird, but it's actually very, very restful. It's a really good way to break up your week. Wednesdays at 12:30. And we're also offering a new parent education workshop called Building Resilience. Those are on select Saturdays. I think it was last Saturday. So just, and more programming. So to my next slide. Sign up for these events and even more at altadenalibrary.org/programs. We will continue to add even more programs, operating hours and days, and more. So just keep checking the website. So we're so excited that our brand new, beautiful mobile library unit, also known as the Curiosity Connection, was officially unveiled at our Altadena Library Foundation donor recognition event this past Sunday. Thanks to Veronica, Victoria, and Nick. I'm sorry if I didn't see someone else that was there for coming and supporting our library foundation. Literally, Taste of Dena paid for half of the van. So like, that's just amazing support that we get from our foundation. We're so excited to get it out in the community this summer. Check out the website to see where the mobile library will be next. It was actually at the Charles White Park this morning at the children's program. And like 2 or 3 library cards were issued and people checked out all kinds of materials. So it's going to be a really great resource that hopefully you'll get to see throughout the community. So now that I thought I signed up to be a library director, but I've pretty much become like a master of finance and building projects lately, interestingly, haha. We are really excited that we've brought on a team of consultants. So far, we've hired a capital project manager, a municipal advisor, and bond counsel. Shortly going to be hiring a bond underwriter and CFD administration firm. If you have more questions, you can ask Amy, who's sitting on our CFD committee. Thank you, Amy, for all your help with that. So long story short, we're hoping to have the bond issuance process completed sometime in September or October, which will give us the funds we need to actually do the building projects. And our capital project management firm is pretty confident that it's going to take about 3 years. So more information to come. I just wanted to give you guys a really quick overview that things are moving. I spend a lot of my time on that. So we're really pleased to support the Altadena Historical Society's event this coming Saturday, as both Veronica and Dr. Thomas talked about earlier. I won't go into lots of detail, but we're really excited to participate this coming Saturday. And actually the van, if you want to check it out, will be at the event at the Charles White Park later that day at 4 o'clock. So again, great to collaborate with all of you and hope to see you at those events. And celebrating Pride, we have our story walk, which if none of you have seen it so far, is a little, it's following the sidewalk around the library where there's a book that children can read going through. This month, it's This Day. is, I can't see the word that. Sorry. May in June by Gail Pittman. So I'd encourage you, if you have grandkids or kids that you want to take on a story walk, it's really cool. We also have a new research database called the Gale Archives of Sexuality and Gender that you can find in our databases, as well as many other great resources. And there's also a curated Pride themed title in our collection, which we have many different display shelves. So I'd encourage you to take a look at altadena.org/on-display. All right, and I think that's it. So thank you for your support as always. Can't wait to keep seeing more and more of you in person, and even more meaningful collaborations between our library district and the town council, as well as many other partner organizations. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions from the council? Councilmember Nat?
It was so great to see everyone at the event this weekend. My question is around the library's Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I know the library closes at 5, which I think means that the parking lot is closed at 5 as well. Is that true? Where'd you go?
Well, yeah, staff doesn't leave till usually after 6. And if we have any kind of like meetings at night, sometimes it's open longer. So the parking lot is always open till at least 6, if not a little bit later.
Does the Wi-Fi extend to the street in some cases? There have been folks that have been curious about where they can go when they need to attend a meeting but can't attend at their home, because all of our like coffee shops close at 4. And so someone had suggested the library using the library's Wi-Fi, but I wasn't sure, since the library closes, if it goes out to the street.
I don't know how far it goes. I do know that in the last year we got a California State Library grant, and it's 10 gigs now. So I think it's even more powerful. I mean, it's definitely faster, but I'll find out and let you know. I would assume that it does extend to the street, but I don't want to give you wrong information. But yeah, it's on all the time. Like, he never turns it off. But
Okay.
I'll get you that answer.
Thank you.
And it was great to hug you, Victoria.
Any more questions for the library from the council? Okay, I see no more questions. Thanks again, Nikki, and thanks for the update, and thanks to all the successes that we are seeing happening. Okay, I'm going to move on. Item under community reports 5.2, the Altadena Chamber of Commerce, Doug Colliflower.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. Have a couple of exciting events coming up I want to share with everybody. The first one is we are having a virtual member appreciation celebration on Saturday, June 26th from 1 to 2:30. It is a member focused event, but everybody is welcome. It is free of charge. We have David Ford with Southern California Edison and Helen Shaw with the gas company will both be there speaking and talking to business people in the community about some of their programs and initiatives that they're working on to help us all come out the other side of COVID and prosper and do well in the new world, however that shapes out as we progress. But it should be a really fun event. There is a link on our Facebook page on a post, and hopefully it'll be a link also on their website sometime tomorrow. But again, please check that out. It should be a fun event. And then secondly, we have rescheduled our annual installation dinner. I may have mentioned it last month, but we have confirmed it. It's going to be July 16th, and it will be at the Altadena Town and Country Club, and it will be in the traditional format. So we are honoring our Citizen of the Year, Mark Mariscal, and our Business of the Year is Hoopla, will be Scott and Lori Webster. It's cocktails at 6 o'clock and dinner at 7, and we do a live auction benefiting the Marion Lee Wolschlager Scholarship Fund, which annually we do our best to give some scholarships to local high school students in our community. So very excited about that, and that will be in-person live event. So And that's $85 per person. And again, that link to sign up and pay should be on our website by tomorrow morning. So I am told that's what will happen, so I'm going to believe it. So that's all I have to share. Happy to answer any questions anybody may have.
Any questions from the council? I see no questions. So thanks, Doug.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. Don't go anywhere. We got some other interesting things happening with the council. You're on the council, so I'm just.
I'm not going anywhere.
All right, moving on. Item 5.3, Los Angeles County Parks and Rec with Sam Estrada.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I actually have a lot for you guys this evening. So with the county reopening, we have a lot of activities that are beginning, and also we have some that are carrying on from May. So first, I'd like to start off with Farnsworth Park and just give a little update. I know some of the council members have inquired about it, but those that were not aware, there was questions about some of the project completion time frame, and then just some recent changes. So the scope of work, so there was some new pathway that was put on the backside of the baseball field. So those pathways are being completed, and the tile in the lower Davies building, as well as some of the other smaller impairments, will be completed as far as like the ADA parking area on Mount Curve. Those will be completed in the coming days. So the Davies work, it will be completed by the end of this month. So by June 30th, that should be completed. And the only item that will extend into July is the pergola. However, we are working to try and get that completed as soon as possible. But everything else, as far as like the pathways, also the batting cage and the horseshoe pits and the ADA rampway that leads down from Mount Curve down to the amphitheater, all of those, and also inside the Davies building, should all be completed with the target date of June 30th. So we're excited about it because we know the community's been waiting to see the completion, not just for the building, but also for outside. And so we're looking forward to that in the coming weeks. So I know Victoria had kind of asked about a question about the pathway. So I hope you saw the email that was sent out regarding that. But we can talk offline if you'd like. So we recently started our Everybody Plays. So those that remember, we were doing our after school Everybody Plays program. So now that it's summer, we've transitioned that into our Everybody Plays summer program. And so that's a non-custodial summer camp program. So we won't be signing any of the kids in. It'll be a camp format similar to what we did with the after school. However, this is going to now take place not just at Loma Alta, but also at Charles White. So it's going to be Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. To 5 p.m. And it's for youth ages 7 to 17. So even though that it's from 11 to 5, you do not have to stay at the site the entire time. I know parents today dropped off their kids, but they didn't stay the whole time. So that's completely fine. And we have arts and crafts and sports and recreational activities for the kids to take part in. We will not be taking them to the pool, but I will be discussing that in a moment about the pool, but that was a major question about that we've been receiving from a lot of the parents. So again, it's Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Today was the first day, so next week it'll be the full week. So we didn't have it yesterday, but the official opening day was today. And also just to point on the heat, if it is excessive heat like we've been experiencing and what we'll probably experience the rest of this week, we will take the kids inside so to avoid the heat and the extreme weather that we'll be facing this week and probably into next week as well. So also in addition to the Everybody Plays, we will be providing a lunch program for the youth. So not only will it be at Loma Alta and Charles White, but it also will include Farnsworth Park. So Farnsworth will just be having the free lunch and snack, and that starts at 12 o'clock, and it is Monday through Friday. As I mentioned earlier, the Loma Alta pool, it is open, and it did open today. There was some information about like the time frame that people were asking about. So it is only going to be open Monday through Friday and also Saturday. But Monday through Friday is only 12:30 to 2:30, and then Saturday is from 12:30 to 2:30. But also they're including 3 p.m. to 4:45. And some people were also asking about masks. The people that come to the pool do not have to wear masks. And however, the lifeguards will be wearing a mask the entire time. And they do ask that if you're not going to be in the pool, but will be on the pool deck, that you do wear a mask on the pool deck. The capacity size, they inform me that it is 45 people in the pool. So that's about 50% of their normal capacity at this time. They are also offering swimming lessons and also adult lap swim and water exercises. So if you want to check out the classes to register, because those swim lessons, the lap swim, and the water exercises are cost program. And you can check that out at parks.lacounty.gov /reserve. And you can register for those programs on there. Another important topic that we have been getting contact calls about is the Loma Alta gym. At this time, it is not open to the public. We're still waiting for the county's guidance on the rules that we have to implement for the gym. So at this time, it's closed, but we do anticipate it reopening within the next few weeks. Our contract class program, as it has continued throughout this year and from May into going through the summer, classes are open. We have our indoor classes now. So several of the classes at Loma Alta include, we have cooking classes and baking classes, dance. We also have tennis and baseball classes that we're offering. So you can register with those contract classes at parks.lacounty.gov /reserve. And all the classes, not just for Loma Alta, but through our entire department, are available online on that website. Also mentioned during this meeting was the Juneteenth program. So it's going to be a busy day at two of our parks. So Loma Alta will be hosting Department of Public Health and Mental Health's Juneteenth event. And it will be this Saturday from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. They'll be hosting a health walk as well as a vaccination clinic. So you can check that out. Again, it's this Saturday from 8:30 to 4 p.m. And also we'll be hosting a Juneteenth event at Charles White Park with My Tribe Rise. And also Councilmember Dorothy Wong, she's part of this as well. And it's from 2:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. And they will be doing a participation walk. And also there will be food trucks, bands, and spoken word throughout the event. And then lastly, we have our Parks After Dark, which is returning. However, it is very different than we've done in years past. This year, we will be doing it on Fridays, and it will be a movie night. So this Friday, we'll be showing Angels in the Outfield, and it will be out on the baseball field at Loma Alta. And then on Saturdays, starting July 3rd, will be our concert. So we have movies every Friday, starting for the next 8 weeks, starting this Friday, and then on Saturday, July 3rd, will be our concerts. So that pretty much wraps it up for what's going on in the parks. If there's any questions, be free to answer them.
Any questions from the council? I don't see any hands up, so thank you, Sam. We really appreciate you again taking your time, and thank you for all the wonderful offers that we're getting from the parks, and we'll look forward to opening up and seeing more opportunities for everybody, and especially the opportunities that you guys offer for the community, kids and the younger generation in our community.
All right. Thank you, Billy.
All right. Thank you. Moving on. We're going to go to committee reports. We're going to start with item 5, item 5.1, Safe Streets, Council Member Wong.
Yes, so I'm just gonna start with Metro. I'm gonna try to share my screen, see what happens. I was trying to get, I might not be able to do it. Okay, I give up. Anyway, so I don't know how to share it. I sent it to Chris, but he's looking to see if he can find it. So meanwhile, again, just the highlight, if you've looked around at the bus stops around Altadena, you'll see these signs. And we're actually going to be, this is probably the last couple of weeks, if you want to take some of the historic routes that will basically be closing down back from the days of the Pacific Electric. So ultimately, we're going to be losing line 680. Well, 686 will still be going. That will go from pretty much Del Mar up Allen to New York Drive. The 264, 267 bus that in the past has gone along Altadena Drive towards Allen will no longer be operating in Altadena. So we're going to be having transit line 662. So 662 will be going, thank you. 662 will be going pretty much up and down Lake, up and down Lincoln, and across Altadena Drive. I have another one that's larger, but I don't know if you found that one. So ultimately, it's sort of the blue line. There was another graphic. And then the 260 bus, thank you. So basically the blue, what you see in blue, that is going to be our transit in Altadena. And then we do have the one short line that goes pretty much from PCC up Allen to New York Drive. And so bus 260 that goes up Fair Oaks will stay in its actual current schedule. It might be coming a little more frequently, but it will change to a new line 660 in December. So the 260 that goes up and down Fair Oaks to Alhambra will still be operating in that capacity. But you will no longer see the 264, 267, and my favorite bus that goes up Los Robles to the library. So follow along. And I will post that graphic, this graphic you're seeing on the screen. The 180 has already stopped. So the Triangle Park will just have one bus. Right now there's 3 bus stops there. There will only be one bus stop circling through, and that'll be the 662. So it's an end of an era. If you haven't taken transit yet, it's free. Wear a mask. And it will change on June 27th. So thank you for that slide. And then the Slow Streets program is basically not leaving right away. It's in transition. So until further notice, there has been a mix of feelings about the Slow Street signs, depending where you live and where they've been put up. But again, we have had a consistent number of pedestrians being hit in Altadena. And that should be concerning to us and our speeds. So ultimately, there will be a new program that the county will be unveiling at some point. I have not heard when that will happen, and it will be another form of Slow Streets, but it'll be a little more strategic by application. Let's see, anything else? Next Gen, Slow Streets. And that's it for now. We do have the demonstration project, expanded sidewalk. We'll be having a community meeting to be determined soon. And I'll put that out. Yes.
Dot, so
Yeah.
with the slow street signs that are currently in place, will they just remain in place? They'll not be repaired? Will they be removed if a resident wants it removed, or what'll happen to the signs that are up now?
Yeah, so they're staying in place until otherwise, right now we're just trying to get, I think the county is trying to get through reopening. So they're kind of keeping things in place. Signs can be repaired. So if I just put in a little request for 3 or 4 signs that had been damaged. And then if anybody has concerns for any reason, they can definitely let LA County Vision Zero know. But ultimately, there is a plan forward, and it's really important, in my humble opinion, that we get some community feedback, because over the duration of time, this is probably the closest we've ever looked at our streets and how we move around Altadena. So I think that's the hopeful thing, that the county will be also doing a community survey. And then there will be a transition. They have not actually announced a date for removal.
Okay, because we had gotten an email from a concerned resident who you've been in touch with from Census Tract 4601 that had heard that the signs were to be permanent, and he was displeased about that. And I didn't think that was the case, but really what it is they're going to stay in place until this new program is unveiled. And again, if they have a concern or it's damaged, they can still reach out about it, but it's not like they're here to stay forever and are never going to be replaced by something else.
Right. We don't maybe want to look at masks anymore, right? But yes, that sounds about the right direction. Thank you. Anybody else?
Any more questions? Okay, no more questions from the council. Thank you very much, Councilmember Wong. I'm going to move on to the next item, which is item 5.2, Land Use Committee, Councilmember Marcussen.
Right, thank you. And we have a couple of items that we'll be voting on that I will go ahead and introduce in a minute, but I did want to remind everybody of the startup of the Owen Brown grave site restoration project that we're working on. It's very new. We're trying to work through some of the details and trying to understand what what that project is going to take logistically and a bunch of other things. The committee, which is not an ATC committee, by the way, I think I've mentioned that, but it's not it's a community committee and not a subcommittee of the town council in any way. The meetings are every 2 weeks. They're regularly scheduled right now, every 2 weeks on Thursdays at 10 a.m. We do go, there's a meeting scheduled for the 24th of June at 10 a.m. And it's the next one would be the 2 weeks after that. But because we are subject to using the county's Zoom account, sometimes the meeting does get moved. So you can find out all the information about the meeting and see the agendas and all of that at planning.lacounty.gov/agenda/OBG, OBG Owen Brown gravesite. And I did just want to encourage everybody to go ahead and you can listen in to the meetings through the county website. And then if you have public comment that you would like to make during the meeting, there are opportunities for that. So I just encourage everybody, if you have heard about the project and just would like to hear what's going on, as I said, we're in the infancy stages and just trying to get our arms around what we can and can't be doing to make this happen. Okay, so having said all of that, I wanted to go, then we would go to the El Molino Manor, I guess, and move on to Billy. I guess that's someone you're going to be presenting.
Yes, I'm going to present the El Molino Manor, and then the next item will be presented by Councilmember Hansen.
Yeah.
So this is in the matter of project number 2017-006714, permit number RPPL 2017010069, and it's for the continued use as an assisted living facility, commonly known as El Molino Manor. The address is 2544 El Molino. It is just north of Mariposa on the east side. This did come in front of land use. Land use voted to send to ATC with a recommendation to send a letter of approval. The applicant, I spoke to the applicant via text yesterday, and they were supposed to be at the meeting today. They asked if there's anything they needed to say. Their names are Zephyr and Glory Piscasio. I don't see them here this evening, so I don't know if they had trouble getting in, but they were enthusiastic to be here. So if they are in the waiting room and they do come in, and if you have any more questions, they might be able to answer for you. I did ask, I will repeat a couple of things here. I did ask the county, as it was a continued use, and it had been an assisted living facility for many years, possibly decades, was the reason that they were requiring to have a hearing and an updated CUP rather than just continuation. It was, as I suspected, the planner informed me because the applicant had let the application, the old application expire, so therefore it required a new permit. We have had similar issues to this recently with the Theological Society, which we also approved for continuation of business. But we did do due diligence on this. Across the street, Almalino exists the Sheriff's Station and Fire Station 11. To this point, we haven't got any comments, negative or positive, either way, from the fire department. The Sheriff's Station did send a response, and the response was, we did some research a while back when they submitted their CUP. Historically, they have not been a particular problem for us. A few calls here and there, but nothing too serious. We have not received and so anyway, so that was all the response I received from the sheriff. So they had no issue with the facility. There is a residential to the north and business to the south on Mariposa. We flyered the area within the 300-foot affected radius, which was the radius the planner had informed us for a minor CUP in this case. We haven't received any feedback, either positive or negative, from our flyers. One of the residents to the north, I did actually speak when I was out on the street, one-on-one, and they told me that they actually smiled and said I have no issue with the business whatsoever, and that was encouraging. And of the south, I did end up speaking to 3 of the businesses to the south, and none of those businesses had any issues with the continuation of this permit. One did mention that some of the people from the assisted living facility have come through the alleyway and hung out, but nothing of any issue or problem. So that being, I'd like to make a motion, and before I make a motion, is there any more questions from the council? I did send you out the same package I sent to land use. There was no updates from land use, as again, it was voted to approve. So any questions from the council at this time? Okay, I'm going to make a motion. The motion for the project, I motion to the project number 2017-006714 and permit number RPPL 2017010069 for the continued use as an assisted living facility, commonly known as Almalino Manor. We recommend the approval and a letter of approval be sent to Los Angeles County for the continued use of CUP of the assisted living facility at 2544 Almalino.
I second.
Without conditions.
I second that.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? So moved, unanimous. Okay, moving on. Back to you, Councilmember Marcussen. Introduce Councilmember Hansen. And you're muted, Councilmember Marcussen.
I was trying to be a good person. Okay, yes. So the next project will be presented by Nick Arnson.
All right, this is project number PRJ 2020-001304. Minor conditional use permit number RPPL 202000056646. This is for the residents at 2884 Marengo Avenue. The Land Use Committee did vote for Altadena Town Council to send a letter of approval unanimously. They are seeking approval for setbacks of previous owners' decades-old addition and attached garage. All the council members here have received the same materials that I sent to the Land Use Committee. They've received the CUP application, letter of explanation, and the site plan. I'll just quick share because the current owners had a very succinct letter that I think pretty much wraps it up well. To whom it may concern, we purchased 2884 Marengo Avenue, Altadena, California, 91001, our home on August 18, 2014. Following our purchase, we sought a permit for trash enclosure. During that process, we were informed that certain work had been done at the property without permits. We brought suit against the seller and the seller's agents, which was resolved with a settlement agreement enforceable as a judgment, requiring the seller undertake all necessary steps to obtain the necessary permits to bring the property into compliance. And we have representatives from those parties here tonight. I'm going to also show you real quick the site plan so you have an idea of what we're looking at. The planner informed us that the main house was built in the main house was built in 1960 and the garage addition was added in the 60s. It should be switching. Are you all seeing the property? Great.
Yeah.
So if you follow my mouse up here, that's the front of the property. And what's in question is this garage, which was added in the 60s. And this house addition, which you can see kind of just fills in a nook there. It's so seamless and with the same architectural style that while the previous owners and the current owners do not know, and the planner does not know when it was added, it seems decades old because everybody in the neighborhood, as I'll report to you that I spoke to, it's been there for as long as they've known. So we know that it's at least 2 decades. The planner told us, this front line up here, I'm going to the back line. The garage is 5 feet 10 inches from the property line. The current code is 25 feet, but again, this dates back to the 1960s. The home addition here is 18 feet, 3.5 inches from the line. And the neighbors were approached in a radius expanded beyond that 300 feet. I spoke to the closest neighbor here behind this property line, behind the home. He was very much in favor of allowing this to happen. He said that it's been like that forever. It's never been an issue. I should also point out his home is quite a ways from that property line. It's set back. This is a flag lot, so it's a little unusual. I got similar supportive responses from neighbors in the front and on the side, no response from any other neighbors. So every response I received was positive. To summarize and to clarify, there's no work intended. The current owners have legally tasked the previous owner to seek permit, and neither of these owners developed the garage or the addition. I'm prepared to make a motion, but I'm ready for some questions. If anybody has them, Dorothy?
Yeah, I'm sorry, you took the, so that added portion, I think it was called garage?
Uh-huh.
5 feet from the back, right?
Right
Is
here.
that an ADU now, or what is that?
No,
Is it a garage? It's actually a garage.
Still is what it is.
Okay. And then, are there any side yard setback
No,
issues?
it's nothing that we're addressing here because it's grandfathered in. As you can see, the addition is within the setback ordinance, but the existing house is not, but that's nothing that we're discussing.
Okay, and I did, someone reached out to me that they didn't know about this project and they said they live near it. So did you flyer it
We
or?
did. I even went over to, yes, like far beyond the 300-foot radius, and it's not a project happening. I'm wanting to stress that this is a
Right.
retro. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And those went out weeks ago, so they've had about a month to respond.
Okay, and any questions from the council?
Great, let me dive into the motion. In the matter of project number PRJ 2020-001304 and minor conditional use permit number RPPL 2020-005646, I move that the Altadena Town Council recommend approval to the Department of Regional Planning of the setback of decades-old addition and attached garage without condition.
Do we have a
I
second?
will second that.
Darrell second. Okay. Motion on the table. It's been seconded by Darrell. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions? I see no abstentions and no nays, therefore it's unanimous.
Thank you for coming, folks.
Okay, moving on. Thank you. Thank you for your hard work, Councilmember Anzen. I appreciate it.
Can I just say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and this has nothing to do with anything, but the Owen Brown gravesite, I just wanted to tell you a little fact about it. Ellen Garrison Clark is buried where she is because of the Brown family. So I just wanted to tell that little bit of history. They own the cemetery where she is. So she was the 10th person buried there. That was just my little tidbit.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing. That's important. It's important to hear these tidbits. So thank you. Any other tidbits, Councilmember Jones? No? Okay. All right. Okay. Moving. Anything else from the Land Use Committee Chair before we move on? Okay. Okay. Moving on. Item 6, general public comments, and I'm going to pass this over to Councilmember Wong.
Okay, thank you very much. So I'm going to go on to I'm going to be reading. This is from Susan Campisi. She lives on Alicia. So Susan writes, as someone who struggles with melancholy moods, I feel better when I spend time amongst trees. Research suggests I'm not alone. Studies show trees are good for our mental health. Trees provide numerous benefits that we don't even think about. They're just part of the background as we go about our busy daily lives. And yet they give so much to us, especially the mature trees that have been part of the fabric of Altadena life for decades. They filter pollution out of the air, conserve energy by cooling houses. They sequester years of carbon from the atmosphere, and they ask for nothing in return. A couple of weeks ago, a group of Altadenans concerned about our trees met on Tonya, where 7 to 8 trees are set to be taken down. It was early evening, still warm. We gathered by one of the trees marked for removal. While discussing the pavement preservation project, Marengo et al., soon we noticed several of us had lined up under a sliver of shade made by this tall, majestic tree, providing relief from the heat as we discussed its fate. We are so lucky to live in Altadena, surrounded by so much natural beauty, but I worry we're taking it for granted as a community. I'm afraid we won't realize how valuable our trees are until it's too late, until they're gone. The county has recognized we're in the midst of climate emergency with robust sustainability plan and goals that create resilience communities. And yet these goals do not seem to be filtering down into the county's projects, which too often seem to be following old school paradigms. We need a new paradigm, one that takes a holistic view to solve the many problems we face. It's possible. Cities all over the world are designing innovative solutions that promote public health and safety and also protect trees and nature. We can, in fact, integrate that into our health. Altadena can do it. We must. We need to do it better. We can do it better. Okay, warm regards, Susan. Let's see. This is from Rachel Raywald. Dear council members, I oppose the removal of the healthy mature trees in any neighborhood planned as the Marengo Avenue removal project. Mature trees are one of the central beauties in Altadena. Damaged cement curbs are a problem that can be solved without removing trees. I've researched how other cities and companies handle this issue. All the published information I read that removing an offending tree is an action of last resort. With the help of arborists and hardscapers, curbs, as well as sidewalks, walkways, streets can be repaired in a way that gives the tree its space. Plus, there are preventative safeguards that can be installed at the same time to prevent the tree from encroaching in the future. I won't repeat all the benefits of the trees, from beauty to clean air to home values. I'm sure you've all heard that already. However, I really want to drive home the fact that removing trees for the sake of repairing barely broken cement curbs seems truly careless when every other town seems to find a way to preserve its healthy trees when they break cement or asphalt. Why is LA County being so thoughtless, even brutish, with 22 of our decades-old trees? This is the 21st century, and we need to act like it. Sincerely, Rachel. Let's see. This is from Janet Castro. Our community is interested in seeking ways to maximize the benefits of our existing tree canopy, as well augmenting it. It is in that regard we hope to review trimming practices to focus on when and how to appropriately trim various species and to protect our nesting bird population. Board Vice President of the Audubon Society of Pasadena, Darren Dowell, informs us that to optimize our bird population, no unnecessary maintenance trimming should occur from February 1st through September 15th. Birds consume many insects that damage trees, structures, crops, and birds contribute greatly to the health and aesthetics of the environment. This is from Jackie Garcia. I am a resident on Tonya Avenue and have been very concerned about the proposed action of the removing of 7 trees from our small block. While I appreciate that these giant and healthy trees may be causing some ongoing damage to pavement nearby the root structures, it is unconscionable and irresponsible to just destroy trees in the name of better pavement on a small street with slow traffic and no sidewalks. These trees not only provide a large amount of shade and offset carbon, they also provide homes and food to our wildlife, protect from watershed, and stabilize the ground on this dusty hillside area. It is very important to note that a sapling, as we are being offered for replacement for our 80 to 100 foot tall, fully grown tree, will not be able to offer anywhere near the same amount of carbon offset, shade, ground stability, etc. for decades. That is why removing a large tree to fix the pavement and replacing it with an immature tree will not be appropriate action. Instead, the proposed action of tree removal, instead of the proposed action of tree removal, there are many options available to fix the road and save the trees. Many SoCal cities, including Pasadena, have been known, and Altadena, have been known to use this measure as curb extensions, winding pavement, and more to avoid tree removal. This is a small street. Removing such a large percentage of tall, mature trees will change the character of the entire block. I urge you to reconsider these methods and help us find a more responsible way to approach the county's projects. Trees are not expendable, and their lives and purpose in our ecosystem should be fully considered within all proposed projects by the county. Thank you. Last one. This is from Ms. Heavenly Hughes. My Tribe Rise cordially invites you to Juneteenth Freedom March and Block Party. We're excited to celebrate Freedom Day. Juneteenth is a holiday celebrating the emancipation of enslaved African Americans in the United States. On June 19th, 1865, slaves were finally informed they were declared free. Join us Saturday, June 19th, 4:30 p.m. at Charles White Park for a Freedom March, live music, poetry, storytelling, interactive arts, liberation, speakers, dancing, food trucks, and lots of opportunity for community. We will also have a tribute to Dr. Dorothy Evans, pastor and mother of Refuge Christian Center. This is a community affair, and we look forward to seeing all of you. If you would like to have a table at this event, share the information about your business, products, or services please contact us at peace@mytriberise.com or www.mytriberise.org. Peace and blessings, Heavenly Hughes. That concludes public comment.
Thank you. I appreciate all the time and effort you put into that, Councilmember Wong, and thank you for the public comments. Okay, and again, just everybody's aware that the public can submit public comments and they will be read into record, and that's open and offered to anybody who wishes to send anything in. Okay, I'm going to move on. Item 7, Census Tract Reports. Census Tract 4603.01.
Hi, yes, I just want to highlight a few events we're having in our census tract. Encourage people to come to the meeting this Thursday about the Chickadee Trail Gate. We will have the Forest Service there, Public Works, and the Fire Department. And I hate to mention an event that conflicts with the amazing Ellen Garrison Clark event on Saturday, but as we heard Samuel Estrada mention, they are having a Juneteenth event. It's called Juneteenth Freedom Day Celebration. It goes from 9 to 2 p.m. and they're having all kinds of cool stuff. Panels, freedom walk, guest speakers, hip hop performance, community dancing, raffle giveaways, perhaps most importantly, free vaccines. So if you know anyone who's not vaccinated yet, encourage them to attend. And that's all I have.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to move on. Thank you very, very much, Hannah. I appreciate that. And then we're going to move on to the last item, item number 8. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
And a second. So Councilmember Jones, seconded by Councilmember Aranda. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So moved.
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks everybody for this evening. I really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you all next month. And again, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to reach out to the executive committee. And have a great evening.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Bye-bye.